Today on episode 216 of Typical Chicago Fans, we have Sinkers and Floaters, the TCF Sports Minute, our NFL playoff recap, college basketball rundown, and the TCF not top three of the worst sports movies. Let's roll. Hello and welcome back to Typical Chicago Fans, brought to you by our incredible sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. This is episode 216. Make sure to find us on X at typical_Chicago, Facebook and Instagram. Give those pages a like as well. For all of our content in video form, go on over to YouTube and make sure you subscribe there. Wherever you get your podcast, subscribe, rate, and review. Every platform, we're there. Make sure you check us out. You can find me on X at BoomyTCF, and of course Zach over here at ZLiliaTCF. Make sure you give Maddie a follow. Make sure you give him a follow, and also send him a little message. Man, he's having some back issues. All right, we've all been there. We've all talked about it.
Nothing's worse than your back hurting.
I think I vividly remember recording a podcast sitting right over there, laying back on a couch because I could not sit up back in the very early days. Which also, Zach, speaking of the very early days, we were approaching 6 years.
That's crazy. I was thinking about that the other day. How long we've been doing the show? We're on 216, which is like the original number, right?
Yes, we reverted back to the original number. There were some shakeups. For those of you that don't remember, we were with the Loop Sports for a little bit. We restarted our count, but I went back through and found everything on SoundCloud.
About it.
I know. I did the research. We're all good.
There we go. But yeah, Maddie, he needs like your well wishes because man, that's just awful.
Yep. He needs those T's and P's, everybody. So make sure you follow Maddie at schools_01. Zach, this weather sucks just as bad as the last 2 weeks.
Hey, today was nice. It was sunny.
Yeah, but it's just gross.
Yeah. It was weird today. I drove by like a 10-mile span, and between that, it was sunny, very foggy and gross, and then sunny again.
Yeah. You might even be able to hear it. I don't know how everybody else is, but my sump pump is just working overtime right now with everything melting. And
if you drive around, there's water everywhere.
Everywhere. Not
think
fun.
About it, how much snow we got. Where's it supposed to go?
Yep, exactly. But knock on wood, maybe some positive news in sight. So might not be all bad.
Yeah, warm weather.
Absolutely. Well, let's, as always, jump into things with our sinkers and floaters. And my sinker this week is mice. I live out in the middle, surrounded by cornfields on all 4 sides. Ever. I got one literally right up there above the bar. You might be able to see it. No, you can't see it, but that one went off the other night. Caught one. This was probably early last week. And then we were unloading the car from grocery shopping yesterday, and one ran under my car, chased him around with a shovel, couldn't catch him, and then went to put something in the garage into the garbage bin, and he ran across the floor. So I went and set the trap and caught one last night. So that's just one of the issues of living in the country. And I've said this story a million times, but I will never forget. It was literally right over there. Me and Zach were recording a podcast, and a mouse ran along where the concrete and the wood meet on the wall, and Zach made it from there to the top of my stairs. So probably 40 feet up a flight of stairs in less than 3 seconds. It's the fastest I've ever seen.
I would do the same thing today.
Yep.
Yeah, mice suck.
They don't bother me. Mice don't bother me.
Thinking about you chasing them around, though, is pretty funny because mice are fast.
Yeah, they are. It was a little one. I thought I was going to be able to catch him, but he kept ducking under my car. So there's some funny Ring doorbell footage. Yeah, that is true. But I caught him last night, and I'm pretty sure it was the same one. So who had the last laugh, buddy? That's right. I did.
You won.
I did.
My sinker is the onside kick. It's over. We're never going to have the onside kickback. It hasn't worked in probably 5 years, 6 years since they changed rules. Nothing was better than like a cool onside kick to like keep a team in the game. But nowadays it's impossible because even if the guy from the Lions the other day would have gotten it, it still was behind the 10 yards that you're supposed to go. Yeah. So it would have been a penalty. the onside kick is just like the kickoff. The onside kick is ruined.
Yeah, it's dead. It like you said, there was I think there was a statistic. It worked somewhere between like 10 and 13% before the rule change 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was.
Pat
And
McAfee
now
probably had the coolest kickoff of all time.
Yes, and like you'd always get the team that comes out and does it like to start the game or to start out of the halftime. And like if I think I remember it might have been Pittsburgh and Arizona. Pittsburgh, I'm probably not remembering this right, but somebody did it in the Super Bowl and it was like headline news. They recovered it. It was a huge part of the game. And now it's dead. You're not gonna. I hate that they got rid of that. I get the safety reasons. I do understand that. But like, there's also a part of like football where you have to be able to game plan and prepare for recovering. Now you don't really have to do that.
No, and it makes me sad.
Wussification of America.
Like I said, the onside kick and the kickoff.
Oh, 100%. 100%. On the positive side, though, my floater this week is sunshine, and that is because we saw sunshine today for the first time in well over 10 days.
A nice sunset.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I was coming out of practice about 5:50 and the sun was going down. Days are getting longer. We've talked about that before. So yeah, it does feel, and I know that I'm going to say this and we're just going to get harpooned with bad weather in February, but you know what? I'm feeling good about it right now.
We're on the right side of the days getting longer, so I love it.
That is true. Time for me to kick your ass in golf again.
You know what? I'll take it right now because just to play golf.
I completely agree.
I've gotten it. Me and Boomy went to bowling. Go to bowling. We went bowling.
I'm a little better at bowling than I thought I would. Than I give myself credit for.
But I've been bowling a lot lately, and I'm ready for golf.
Yeah, it's just like you said, those longer days and seeing the sun, and now we're actually like seeing the ground instead of just frozen white stuff. It makes you feel like there's a little bit of an end in sight.
It was like 5:30. You look out, it's still got a little bit of light left, and you're like, man, this is awesome.
We're not too far.
I love it. My floater though is car washes. And what do we do before car washes? We wash our own cars? No. Car washes are amazing.
I agree. I just never do it. I wash my car like twice a year.
I grew up being told, oh, you need to clean your car or whatever. You clean your car, this and that. No, car washes.
Yeah. I'm with you. I do it, and I should do it more in the winter. But like to me, the winter it feels like.
Oh yeah, the winter's not like unless you have like salt. That's the only bad thing.
Yeah, and that's when I feel like I should do it more. But like I do enjoy doing it, but I never like have ever been like a messy car guy, so I don't think to do it as much as I should, especially in the winter with my schedule. It's just a crapshoot. But I'm with you. I something I need to do more. But nice. I'll be honest with you, Zach. Can we be in the trust tree here? I have never driven a car through an automatic car wash. I'm 33 years old.
Really?
I've always done the self-serve bays.
You know what? Maybe like one of these weekends, me and you will go down to Peru and we'll go through it together and we'll record your reaction.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little worried.
It's pretty wild. It's like almost like a little party.
I mean, I was in them as a kid. Like I've been in them, but I've never been like in the driver's seat. That's
what I mean. We'll have to go through with you driving in your car.
All right, we can do that. There's a couple places down in Peru.
A new life experience for Boomy.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you check the YouTube. Subscribe there.
Yeah, because we got one pretty close to where we live that you just pull up, they clean the car, you get on the little or like conveyor belt, I guess it'd be. And boom, it's clean. But there's lights and it's a party.
I'm excited. We're definitely gonna have to do this now. Like you said, new life lessons, life experiences, I guess is the better word. Let's go ahead and transition over.
Your lesson would be go to car washes.
I know. I got a bad feeling I'm gonna like it and just spend way too much money on doing that.
You do live pretty close to it.
That is true. That is true. Let's go ahead and transition. We got the TCF Sports Minute, all your Chicago sports rundown here. We're going to start off with the Blackhawks, 14-34-2. They have 30 points. They are now tied for the worst or the bottom seed in the NHL. They are tied with the Sharks right now with 30 points. And we've talked about it with Maddie. We've talked about it on here. Maybe this means another number one overall pick.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I keep thinking of.
You want to keep losing.
Yeah, seriously. And I know Bedard's got to be just, chomping at the bit to come back. But it's like, hey, man, if it's gonna be, getting you back or having another number one, I'm not gonna lie, I think I'd rather have the number one.
Or go out there and play for a bad team and get hit again.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So I know he's still trying to skate. It looks like he wants to be back earlier than they anticipated, but I think if the Blackhawks are smart, they'll just make sure that they play it, err on the side
make
of
sure
caution.
He's 1,000% healthy.
Yes, exactly. Other than that, they're absolutely awful at hockey. I mean,
not good.
I mean, it's bad.
I'd seen that they were on the other side of like the best odds for a team to win. I think it was the Oilers.
Yeah.
They were like minus 450 or 500.
Yeah, I thought it was like 430 or something like that.
That's crazy.
That's you're bad when you beat a team and then their coach gets fired the next day.
Hey, this is what we want.
Exactly. I'm okay with it. Not as bad, but not good. The Bulls are 22-25. They currently hold the 9 seed.
Playing better.
13 and a half games out. They are playing better. Kind of an ugly win out in Portland on Sunday night, but a win's a win.
Boomy, I heard something pretty funny.
Let's hear it.
What if Zach LaVine is traded to the Detroit Pistons?
Oh, that would make me laugh very hard.
I've seen just some random stuff about it because, I mean, at some point you're going to have to trade him to somebody.
Yeah.
I just feel like this relationship is over with.
For a guy who is like the definition of a bum slayer, go play on the biggest bum team, like that'd be kind of funny.
Wouldn't that be funny though? Like you want out, you want to go play for a good team. We're gonna send
and
you
then we send it to Detroit,
a team worse than the Bulls.
Yes, yeah, maybe a little grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Maybe in a play-in tournament, who knows? But
yeah,
the Pistons, no.
Yeah, that would be very funny. Like I said, they're not out of it. They're the 9 seed. I do think this team. Here's the thing: if they keep what is constructed as of right now, this team's going to make the play-in tournament. They're maybe going to get to the regular playoffs. They're not good enough to get out of the first round, but I'm very intrigued. The trade deadline is looming here in the next couple weeks, and I don't know, man. With Zach LaVine still being hurt, and it sounds like their asking price for Caruso is pretty steep. I think of the big 3 names, DeRozan, LaVine, and Vooch, I think one of them will get traded. I don't think they're going to be able to unload all 3.
I don't know. It seems like there's really not a very good market for Zach LaVine exactly at this point.
Well, and not even Caruso. That. I don't think there's a great market for DeMar DeRozan or Vooch either right now, if I'm being completely honest.
I really think that there may not be a trade.
Yeah, I do think. I think
at some point they're just going to have to do something with Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think they're going to go, well, we're still in the playoff hunt. Maybe we want to try and win.
Well, not even that. I mean, they played pretty well when Zach LaVine was out. They can still trade Zach LaVine for some assets and some players.
He's out for a little while now.
Yeah, I saw he was in a boot. But, like, that's the thing. They can make a move of Zach LaVine and still be in the play-in tournament, which, granted, like I said, is still basketball purgatory. But, you can't win the dance if you don't buy a ticket first. So, at least they'll be there. And then you've really, I mean, I know you guys are very, done with Karnisovas, but I think, see where this summer, if nothing changes with, what's coming off the books.
They're far away from making a move at GM.
I think, yeah.
I mean, like, say whatever you want. They're, even if you think, oh, they're not doing that that well, the organization is going to keep them around for at least another 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the guy's been here for 4 years. They've made the playoffs 2 of those 4 years, I think. 2, not 3. So like, I don't know. I'm not ready to give up on the guy. At the end of the day, the guy did draft Nikola Jokic, so I'll give him a little bit of little extra rope. So
the only one that hurts is the Vucevic trade, and what was the other one? Some of the draft picks.
The Lonzo Ball signing ended up turning out really poorly.
Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah, but even like the year after the Bulls traded him, he wasn't great in Cleveland.
Yeah, but now
you know what I mean. Yeah, I think that was in his second year.
Yeah, it was a Jazz.
I think he was in Cleveland for 2. I'm not sure. I can't remember. It feels like Lauri Markkanen.
Jazz.
Yeah. Yep. You're right. In some more, we're going from most negative to the positive, then we'll finish with the negative. The Cubs signed Hector Neris to a 1-year, $9 million deal. Arguably one of the best relievers in the free agency pool. That one kind of came out of nowhere. I like this signing a lot. Only 1 year if it turns out that he doesn't have anything left. But Hector Neris was very good for the Astros. I think sub-2 ERA, if I'm not mistaken.
And big games.
Yeah, very true. A guy who's won before, and granted, a lot of what the Cubs are going to do in the future is going to be based on what these young guys coming up are going to do. This is a guy who has been here. I don't think he's that old, but still, like you said, big games, has pitched in big moments, and it's a 1-year deal, right? Maybe it goes really well. You sign him to an extension. Doesn't go well, you're out $9 million, which in Major League Baseball terms is next to nothing.
In 1 year.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not straddled to this guy forever. Next note I had, Carl Edwards Jr. is back with the Cubbies.
That's cool. It was what kind of deal did he get?
It's a minor league deal.
Oh, okay. So
he'll
be the Iowa Cubs then.
He'll be an invitee to camp, and then see where it goes from there. As much as I love the nostalgic, Carl Edwards was one of the guys that was on the 16 team. Let's not forget, Carl Edwards Jr. was absolute cheeks at the end of his Cubs career.
Not good.
Yeah. So it was a minor league deal for a reason, but it is kind of cool to see him come back. So we'll see if he's got. I mean, when he was on, though, I was a big Carl Edwards fan. He just couldn't find it.
Him and Kyle Hendricks should be the 2 guys from the 2016 season.
Exactly. So we'll see if he can find. Now, granted, that's crazy that in November it'll be 8 years since that World Series.
Kyle Hendricks is the only player on the team left.
Yeah. It does not feel like it's been 8 years. That's wild. I did see a report today. I'll be honest, saw the tweet, looked at the article, didn't confirm it, that Cody Bellinger has not been offered a contract sheet by anybody yet. Did you see that?
I did not see that, but that'd be wild.
Yeah. I mean, also,
it's like 10 days until pitchers and catchers report.
Yeah, maybe 2 weeks at most. I mean, nobody has offered him.
That seems ridiculous.
We talk about it and have been talking about it forever, right? About how bad baseball's offseason is. And they have to do something about this. This is absurd that we're sitting here. Yeah, Scott Boras.
Maybe everyone's afraid to try and deal with him.
I don't have a lot of nice things to say about Scott Boras.
But you would think a guy like that, just a random team would have to throw him a deal.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I can't remember where I found it. I wish I would have saved it. But yeah, someone said that no one
to think that he will sign during spring training.
Yeah, and we've seen that over the last couple years, but
there's still
it's still something.
Players who will play this season that haven't signed yet.
Yes. Another guy in that free agency pool, Blake Snell, met with the Yankees. I want Blake Snell on the Cubs real bad. I like Blake Snell a lot.
like you said, baseball's got to do something about this. They need a cutoff date.
Blake Snell was offered 6 years, $150 million. He returned their sheet with a 9-year, $270 million offer. So it seems like they're a little far away. Yes.
He wants to be 9 years.
9 years, $270 million.
He's got to be in his 30s, right?
I want to say he is 30 or he's 29.
Wow. So he's 40 years old. That's crazy.
Now, if they can set it up so that it's like, kind of front loaded and there won't be killed at the end. Like if the Cubs wanted to give him 8 and 250 with it being front loaded and can get not killed on the backside, I wouldn't hate that.
I guess he wants to.
He is 31 years old.
Somewhere for a while.
He is 31. So 9 year, yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that. We'll see. I'm sure someone will come to an agreement with him somewhere in the 7 year range.
But there should be a rule that pitchers and players, all of them, when pitchers and catchers report, free agency is over with. Or something like that. Something to speed the process up a little bit.
Yep, I agree. There's got to be something. I mean, a lot of other leagues have, dates.
The Cubs, they signed Craig Kimbrell in the middle of spring training.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Which is, it's cool in the moment because you're like, oh, he comes into spring training, or like the Dexter Fowler. But it just makes the offseason so boring.
Yeah, especially for a sport that a lot of people consider boring. The offseason is just as boring as the game.
All you heard was, once Shohei Ohtani signs, everyone's going to sign. What was it, 2 months ago? 3 months ago?
No, it was only a month ago, maybe.
Oh, sorry. But you know what I mean? That was not true.
Yeah, it has been very not true. But we'll see. And this did happen last week, literally as we were recording, or right before. Ryan Sandberg came out and said that he has been diagnosed with cancer. Obviously, thoughts and prayers to Rhino. It just sucks. One of those guys. I mean, I didn't watch it.
They said they're going to unveil his statue, I think sometime in either June or July. And it'd be awesome when he's there.
It just, like I said, I was very young when he retired. I think he retired before you were even born, Zach. But like one of those guys that's like a legend of the team that you cheer for, and then you see him, get into older age and dealing with these things. And a guy who has been around the Cubs organization for a very long time. Many people don't even remember. Many people don't even remember that he was the coach of the Peoria Chiefs and I think a couple other minor league teams in the Cubs system. I actually saw him coach a few games down in Peoria when I was in high school.
I think I was playing like travel ball, and we got to like go there and meet him, and they're always doing some sort of event around it. But just as of recently, he's been doing a lot with the Cubs and spring training and stuff like that.
Marquee Network. He's been doing
so it's cool to see him working back with the Cubs, and hopefully next season he'll be back working with them.
Definitely. So T's and P's to Rhino. Last thing here in the Sports Minute. Last week it was announced that the Sox are considering a new stadium. It's from the sounds of it, it will be right on the water of the South Loop. I think this is a great idea. And if
you're a White Sox fan, if they do this, they've got to start with the big signings too. I mean, I think that's kind of White Sox fans' thoughts are, if we're going to build this new stadium, maybe the White Sox will actually start spending money on the players also.
The problem is they'll do that for like 5 years, and then after that, I mean, then they just won't care. Because they're going to have to, right? You're going to have enormous bills, and you're going to have a stadium, a brand new stadium that no one comes to watch. And it sucks because like there's so many things that they could have done better with the field they're at now. And like the way it's set up, if they wouldn't have put all of the, not scab, but like the lighting and the walls up the way they would. You'd have a perfect view of the skyline from where they're at, and they just botched all that. It's very cookie cutter. I hate to be a Cubs fan complaining about guaranteed rate, because it is a nice park. It's a good place to go catch a game and have fun. But the tailgating scene there. But there's so many missed opportunities that they've had, down there in Bridgeport. But I think it'd be very interesting to have them right there in the South Loop.
Well, one thing they will miss when they move is the tailgating. And as a Cubs fan is what I really do miss. I would love to go to a Cubs game, tailgate for a few hours, and then go in the game. That's an awesome experience that they're not going to get if they move.
But it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's all on like what you'll allow. Like if they build,
Soldier Field still has the tailgating of it. You just don't want to lose that. I think that is something as a Cubs fan that it really it's something that looks like all these fans make it look so fun. But when you go to a Cubs game, you gotta go to the bar, which is fun, but it'd be cool to tailgate too.
I agree. I don't say a lot of nice things about the Milwaukee Brewers, but they absolutely nail it. But they're also not in the middle of a downtown, gigantic metropolitan area like the Cubs are.
Yeah.
They're a little bit farther out. So, but if you're going to go to a tailgate early in the baseball season, because we're not too far away, I believe end of March is when games start. And guess what? It's pretty cold in March. So if you're going to go tailgate down at Guaranteed Rate, you better take yourself some coffee, and you better get yourself some Connect Roasters coffee to take. Trust me, everybody at the tailgate will love it. Get your energy up to head to the ballpark, keep you warm all day. They make the best coffee around that you are going to find. They work with Dom Frederick. They work with Ian Happ. It is just, those guys aren't going to drink bad coffee. So make sure you check out their website, connectroasters.com. Find them on Twitter at Connect Roasters. Make sure if you are in Bourbonnais that you hit up their storefront. I've heard nothing but good things. Me and Zach will be getting there here in the spring to make sure we check out the new digs over in Bourbonnais. So make sure you check out our friends over at Connect Roasters. So a big shout out to our friends over in Bourbonnais at Connect Roasters. We are going to move into the NFL playoff recap, do a little look ahead at the Super Bowl. Let's start off in the AFC. Zach, Patrick Mahomes does it again.
Yeah, I learned again not to bet against Patrick Mahomes. It's insane what he can do. Some of those throws were unbelievable. He was pretty much tackled like 3 different times, just threw the ball, touchdown, first down. I think there was one that was like the longest possession that he's had in the playoffs, and it was like 15. It was like 15 plays.
Yeah,
it's like it's insane what he has done and what he's going to do.
I know. I'll say this right now. People can pull this and take. He is going to go down as the greatest quarterback in NFL history. He is completely changing the game, and I hate to kiss the guy's ass all the time, but he is so good. He is making very average receivers look very good. I'm not sure if Rashee Rice is on anybody else's team if he's putting up the numbers that he had.
He could have been a dickhead all season and said, "Oh, my receivers have been bad, this and that," and he worked through it, and he's most likely going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, he's going back to it again.
Will be his third.
This would be his third. Yes, 6 AFC championships in a row that he has played in.
It's insane. He's 30.
Yeah, that's absurd. That is an absurd thing to say.
He'll be 29 next year.
I'm not even sure. I know he's around 30 because he was
crazy.
Yeah.
And the way he plays football, he'll be playing for another 10, 15 years.
Easily. And I don't want this to come off like poor, but like the Ravens just kind of, they were there the whole time. The Ravens are still a really good football team. They just happened to run into the Kansas City Chiefs.
And also made some dumb decisions.
Yes, absolutely. And I know we joke like when games are going on, like, oh, it's a ref show, NFL rigged, like that stuff's getting so played out, dude.
What team has been there and what team hasn't?
Exactly. And Kansas City played like they knew what to do because they have been there so many times and they just executed and got the job done.
They
So
weren't going to let
Chiefs are going
penalties lose them the game, and that's what the Ravens did.
exactly. Exactly. It looked
We
like a team
also
that doesn't have the
saw
experience.
Lamar Jackson throw himself the ball.
Yeah.
That was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Lamar Jackson's, yeah. It sucks. I like Lamar Jackson a lot. And I don't think this takes away from how good he has been
No,
in
but
the
his
NFL.
style
People
of
don't talk.
football is tough to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I still think if they keep him around for as long as I think he's under contract, I mean, they just got to keep building around him, and I think they're going to be all right. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think this is the end
People
of the
forget that he
Ravens
had like
run.
Odell Beckham Jr. out there. I mean, nowhere near
Exactly.
the prime of his career.
Exactly. In the NFC, I don't know about you, Zach. I'm glad the Lions are done. I got to stop hearing about everybody in America
As
loving
much
the
as
Lions.
I
I
was like,
hate
oh,
this
this is
place.
cool. Still in the division. I still don't want them to win. I like the 49ers. George Kittle, awesome that he's back in the Super Bowl. And we'll get into it more, but I think the Chiefs will win. I want the 49ers to win.
See, I don't like the 49ers.
Really?
I understand everybody likes Kittle, and yes, I
It's not even
understand.
that. It could be really anybody. It would have been the Lions, whoever. I am just so tired of the Chiefs, and they're starting to become the Patriots, which in their case is awesome, amazing.
Yeah.
But just you want to see somebody else win.
Yeah, I agree. It feels very much like a Patriots run here in these last,
But also
especially the last
there's
6 years.
the 49ers who have a guy who people are like, how is this quarterback in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then there's that situation where you don't want that guy to win because does he really deserve it or whatever. But hey, he's leading his team to the Super Bowl. You're pretty good.
Exactly. For a guy who was the last pick of the NFL draft. Also, in the same token, I understand. I get everybody. Well, Dan Campbell's done this all year. He goes for it. That was stupid. Let's stop acting like this was like, oh, he does this all. Okay, he does this all the time. So let's not take points when you're down set. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, pretty wild move.
I get that he goes for it, more than anybody. Whatever, that's great. But
I guess it's one of those
I
things
just thought
you
that.
gotta go out with what you think got you there.
Yeah, I guess, but it's also there's got to be some situational awareness, and it felt like there was just a couple moments where it's like the Lions were just instead of taking a step back and making the rational decision, they were like, "Oh, we got to do this. We got to do this because this is the way we always do it." Obviously, you're in the NFC Championship. That game should have been over, and they got too conservative, and then at times, and then they got way too. I felt that they got way too reckless with it at times. It's hard to put a thumb on because there was times where I'm like, you can be a little bit, go for it on certain situations, and then times where it should have required that you play conservative, they didn't.
That
You know what I
turnover,
mean?
right after the 49ers scored that touchdown by the Lions was huge.
Yes, exactly. And I know that it's hard to coach, turnovers and stuff like that, but dude, it just felt like there were some decisions there in that second half that I'm like, he's got to learn from that. I think he's
Football's
a good
crazy.
coach, don't get me wrong. But I don't think we're done seeing the Lions. So I am glad to see him go.
He told the players in the locker room it may be the last time that you play in a game like this. Unfortunately, it's that hard to get there.
Yep, that's very true. That is true. So real quick before we move on, let's make our way too early predictions for the Super Bowl. Chiefs are going to win this game, in my opinion. I think they win this game
I'm gonna
by
go with the
5 or 6.
49ers. But I think by the time this game starts, it's going to be a pick 'em. I think it started off 49ers -3. And then it's around I think -1 or so. I think it'll be a pick 'em by the time game
I
starts.
better get my Chiefs money line bet in right now. I do think whatever it's going to be, I think it's going to be a low scoring game. Both these defenses are pretty dang good.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be under, which would be boring in the Super Bowl, but you never know. It's two also explosive offenses too, so you never know.
Yeah. Yep, that is true. But make sure we do a big deep dive on the Super Bowl next week's show. We got the Pro Bowl this weekend, but who cares? The Pro Bowl stinks anyway. So
It
flag
does
football.
stink. I wish they still do the games and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fun.
It's almost like a decent like third TV.
But at least they don't play it anymore. That's the best.
They need to go back to like the years where like Sean Taylor was taking punters' helmets off.
Yeah,
those were the good days.
That was pretty funny because I remember listening to that like, whoa.
Yeah, he about killed. I think it was Colquitt. It was the punter from the AFC, and Sean Taylor about ended that, man. Let's go ahead and jump over, Zach. We got the college basketball rundown. I do not have the updated Illinois rankings, so I was running a little behind today. But the national rankings did shift just a little bit. UConn back in the 1 spot, Purdue in the 2, North Carolina, Maddie's Tar Heels are the 3 seed, or the third ranked team. Houston back into the 4 spot, and Tennessee at the 5. Feels like those 5 teams plus Kansas just kind of keep shifting around the top 6 or 7 every week.
Yeah, it's kind of how college basketball gets this time of year, with so many games.
Especially with there not being like one dominant team.
Yeah, and you're playing conference teams now, so you're playing multiple ranked teams each week. So it's kind of hard for the rankings to get too crazy. But there's some good basketball coming up here soon.
Absolutely. I got some games written down. It was actually hard for me to narrow it down to 5, and these are all happening on Saturday. So you've got plenty of time to make sure that you lock in.
Football season, we have 1 game left.
Yeah. Yep. Saturday, Houston at Kansas. Everybody forgets that Houston is now in the Big 12. So that should be a really fun game. That is the number 6 team versus the number 4 team, and that is at Kansas. This will be a nice little introduction to Calvin Sampson and the Houston Cougars into real. I mean, I know they've played some other Big 12 opponents,
Kansas, though. That place is crazy.
Yes, I like Kansas at home. I wouldn't be surprised if they come into that game as a favorite in the betting lines. Also Saturday, they're not as good, but Ole Miss is hosting Auburn. Auburn is ranked in the top 25.
SEC showdown.
Yeah, and Ole Miss isn't bad. They're not god awful.
SEC basketball is getting better.
Yeah, it goes in such ebbs and flows, dude. It's crazy because some years they have 8 tournament teams, and then some years you could make an argument that they shouldn't have 4 tournament teams. And this is a very good year for the SEC. Not a very good year. This is a good year. Not a great year for the SEC. Back to the Big 12, Iowa State, I believe they're ranked 23rd, travels to Baylor, who I believe is 14th, another Big 12 matchup. Iowa State playing pretty well, but I think it's going to be tough for them to go on the road at Baylor, who's playing some good hoop lately.
Yeah, it's just the games, like you said, that like you just got to look. You see 2 ranked teams. That's going to be an amazing game.
And here's the last two.
That kind of sounds dumb, I mean, saying 2 ranked teams, but in college football, sometimes it doesn't mean you're going to have a great game. In college basketball, most likely you're going to have a really good game.
Absolutely. The last 2 are probably 2 of the biggest rivalries that we talk about on here. We got Tennessee at Kentucky, 2 of the best SEC teams. Tennessee is 5th. I think Kentucky's like 12th. Never, ever easy to go into Rupp Arena. It'll be very interesting to see if Tennessee can live up to that top 5 ranking and stay in there when they have to go to Kentucky and face Calipari and the Wildcats. I think they can do it, but man, that's a tall task.
Yeah, that place is always crazy.
And the last one, of course, Duke at North Carolina. I bet I know where Maddie will be, what he will be watching on Saturday. Never easy. 2 ranked teams, North Carolina in the top 5, Duke in the top 15. This one's going to be fun. It's
so weird nowadays,
really
too,
good
because you're still
players
getting used to the new coaches. And
that is true. That is very true. So let us know which college games you are watching this week. We talked about it last week. Northwestern takes down Illinois in overtime in Evanston. That was a big one. They do have Purdue. I want to say it's Tuesday. So it'll be a really interesting opportunity to see if Northwestern is for real. If Northwestern, I'm not even saying they have to beat Purdue. They've got to compete with Purdue. If they can do that, they should I think right now Northwestern is a tournament team. But if they can hang with Purdue, I believe it's at Purdue. After you come off of a huge emotional win, I think they played on Saturday, but they beat Illinois last week. If they can come back in back-to-back weeks, beat Illinois, give Purdue a run, I really like what the Wildcats are doing right now.
Keep it close.
Have you decided what DePaul game you're going to go see?
With Georgetown.
Georgetown. When is that?
End of February.
Okay. So you got a little bit of time. Maybe the Blue Demons can work out some of their issues because
I don't think we have that long.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're going this season, not 5 years from now.
It's a tradition that me and my brother-in-law do. We're not going to see great basketball.
I'm not at all crapping on the tradition, and I like that stadium a lot. We've been there.
I'm more excited about the food, honestly. The restaurant that's I think we went there.
And you'll get to see Ed Cooley.
Yeah.
Coach at Georgetown now.
Ask him how that game against Providence was.
Yikes. Yeah, that was bad.
It's going to be a little bit more quiet.
Yes, very good call. Let's wrap things up. As always, Zach, we've got a top 3, but this week is a not top 3. Last week we did the top 3 sports movies. This week is the worst 3 sports movies. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
I'll go first. I'm going to go Rudy. I just don't like it, dude. And I just think it's just so overplayed. Like, oh, it's just feel good story. Like, no, it's a made up story.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm saying
that
like it happened, but the movie it helped it out the story out a little bit.
Yeah, there was a lot of fabrication. And I just don't like Notre Dame at all. So this would have been my 1-1 for sure right here. I will go. Fine, I'll do it. We talked about it last week. Coach Carter. It's ruined for me.
Unbelievable.
I can't do it. And I've said this before. I know we've probably covered this, but the reason is before the movie came out, my dad was at a coaches convention, and the real Coach Carter talked and basically said that everything that was going to be in the movie was Hollywood fabrication. And my dad told me about it before I was able to see it. So I watched a little bit of it here and there, but it ruined it for me.
So blame your dad.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know if I've ever seen it front to back. I've probably seen it the whole thing in pieces here and there. But yeah, I just can't do it. My next one. This is the problem because we talked a lot last week on how many sports movies we love.
I have a lot that I don't like.
I'll go for the exact same reason. The Blind Side has got kind of played out.
Oh man, that would have been mine.
And the reason is because basically Michael Oher has come out and said like they basically just made him out to look like this poor helpless kid, and that wasn't really the case. So I feel bad for Michael Oher, and I don't think he made that much money off of using his likeness in that movie. So it's one that's just over the years. I liked it a lot when it came out. I even had it illegally downloaded from LimeWire on my iPod Classic that I would watch in study hall and in high school, but it's kind of gotten ruined for me in the last 5 years.
Yeah, I think everyone involved in that movie kind of.
Yeah, it just kind of got played out.
Yeah. My number 2, Space Jam with LeBron James.
You probably haven't even seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. Space Jam with LeBron James, that just ruined it. Should have left it just for
Jordan. And we all know how big of a LeBron fan I am. It was a movie that did not need to be remade.
No, it's just a lot of movies that,
yeah, they didn't have to do that. That was unnecessary.
My last one here.
I know. I've got the list pulled up, and there's just not that many bad sports movies. I'm sure there are, but they're just not being. We don't know as like a lot of them were, like straight to DVD. You know.
Yeah. Do you have your third?
Yeah, I do.
Go
And
ahead.
it's one my sister loved, and I just hated it for some reason. Probably just wanting to be like, oh, I'm a tough 10-year-old. This movie stinks. I don't like soccer anymore. Bend It Like Beckham.
Oh, that's a good one.
I hated that
Oh,
movie.
okay. I can't remember the name of the movie, but I can describe it. It was on Disney Channel, and it had to do with like leprechauns.
Luck of
Like,
the Irish.
yeah, I hate that movie.
Really? That was a good one.
I did not like that movie.
Okay, you know
Acting
what's
was
even
horrible.
worse? You know what's even worse is if you remember the Disney basketball movie about the twin sisters, it was called Double Teamed. And there's a scene at the end where she makes this like her signature move and she like shuffles her feet and makes this move. It is 100% a travel or a double dribble or something, but it has just always driven me nuts. And like they made it seem like it was the coolest basketball move. And even like I think I watched it when I was like 9, and I sat there, I was like, you can't do that. You can't like move your feet like that.
Yeah, all those Disney movies where like they played basketball, they all like the basketball part of it
So
sucked.
bad. So bad. That one, this not top 3 was hard because there's not a ton of sports movies. Major League 2 was one that got brought up.
Yeah,
I
really,
thought Major League 3 was awful.
Rudy, I honestly don't like. Space Jam, I never really seen it. The one with LeBron James and Luck of the Irish. I would just have to go with bad acting, not like
Yeah.
a horrible movie.
Yep, that's fair. Let us know what you guys think the worst sports movies are. That is it for us for episode 216. We appreciate you guys joining in. Make sure you check in next week. We'll have a full breakdown of the Super Bowl, prop bets, storylines, all that good stuff. And of course, some Chicago sports, little college hoops action. And hopefully the Cubs have signed another person.
Hopefully a few more players have been signed by both teams.
Absolutely. I would be okay with that. But until then, make sure you find us on X at typical_Chicago. Head over to YouTube for all of our content in video form. Make sure you subscribe there wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe, rate, and review. Of course, you can find me on X at BoomyTCF, and of course, Zach over here at ZLiliaTCF. We appreciate you guys checking in. That was episode 216 of Typical Chicago Fans. We love you all.
Peace.